There are any differences when you direct the rest of the cast and the killer, the person who's going to play the killer?
God, I love your questions. These are so good.
Thank you.
Tô me sentindo adorável.
I've got plenty to be thankful for.
But we don't have Thanksgiving here in Brazil, so I would like to know how you came up with the idea of John Carver, what's his story, and how did you came up with the idea of the mask using his face?
So we wanted a movie that with a great killer, with a great mask, but also something that could play around the world, because as I know from being here with Hostel or my other films, scares speak no language. So even if you don't have the holiday, people understand greed and killing and stalking and revenge. So I wanted a great movie that even if you know what the holiday is, you don't need to know the rules of the holiday to enjoy the horror movie. You just want to see amazing, amazing kills. So we kept looking at what is the mask that this killer wears, because it has to be iconic. And it was the 400-year anniversary of the Pilgrim's landing in 2020. So we said, okay, if it was the 400-year anniversary, maybe they made up a bunch of masks. They have a parade. The parade is real. They do it every year. It looks very similar. It's not like there's the Thanksgiving Day parade in New York with big floats of Snoopy and stuff and Garfield. But the Plymouth one is like a much smaller hometown parade. And we thought, okay, the mask would be of this figure. We looked up in doing our research, the first governor was named John Carver. And we thought, it's such a good name. You know, just Carver, like carving
killer,
people up. So we found one image of his face. There's only one that we found.
It's like the statue on the movie.
Yeah, it's from a book. It's like a drawing of him.
Oh, okay.
So we took that and we made a 3D mask and we made statues. So, you know, in history, apparently he was, you know, a nice guy, but we just thought this is great because it's real. You can really look up. He was the governor on the Mayflower. He lived in New Plymouth Colony and he died at 43. And there's a girl in the diner. She gets her face stuck to the freezer.
Oh yeah, this one.
So John Carver is like a distant uncle. She's actually descended from John Carver. So we had a real relative of John Carver being killed by John Carver.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was very fun. I love, you know, Final Destination and Scream and Halloween and My Bloody Valentine. And I know in Brazil they love their horror and they like bloody horror. So taking anything that's a holiday, it doesn't matter what holiday, it's supposed to be a special time to celebrate, and those are perfect to just like twist and skew and turn into a massacre.
Mask.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and I'm tired of pretending like everything is normal when it's not.
I want things to go back to normal too.
Since Hostel, I always wondered how you come up with the ideas of these deaths, because in the movie there's a lot of intense and violent and gory deaths.
But they're fun.
Yeah, they are.
So Hostel's like, oh, like I watch Hostel now and I go, man, it's very strong. So this one, it's the kills are insane, but they're still like just a little bit more fun. You know, when you're thinking about it, I think, what have I seen before? I've watched every horror movie. And what could be, like, what's the worst thing that you could do to somebody? Because it's easy to, like, chop off arms and eyes. We've seen it before. But what makes it great is when you take something that's supposed to be used for something else, like the corn holder. Now, every Thanksgiving you have the corn holder because the corn is too hot. So it's like to protect your fingers. But what if that went in your ears? It's so horrible because it's supposed to protect you. Yeah. So when you can take something that's supposed to be used in another way and turn it into some, like, just using it in like something awful, that's what I think is fun.
Yeah.
Then if I think it and I go, oh no, I shouldn't do that, then I do it. I just go farther.
Yeah.
I actually think I probably shouldn't do that. That's when I know it's good.
But how do you make the prosthetics? Which one do you think was the most difficult to make?
It's a great question. The prosthetics were done by Adrian Moreau, who won the Oscar for The Whale, the Academy Award. And we worked together first on my Death Wish remake.
Yeah.
And he did a head. I dropped a car on someone's head, and the head he did looked so real, I couldn't believe it. And Adrian is like me, like a horror fanatic.
Yeah.
So we want to like do the best deaths of all time. It's like our chance to enter, you know, in the Hall of Fame of horror movie deaths.
Yeah.
So he has his techniques of how he'll scan a head and a body and a face, and they look so real. like this close, you're looking at it, it looks completely real. So that's how you know on camera it's gonna look good.
No spoilers, but can you comment which one was your favorite?
It's hard. There's certain things like, you know, in the trailer, you see we put someone in an oven. And I was shooting it, and people are going, it's too much. And I'm going, no, it'll be great. And they're like, it's too much. We showed it to like a test audience, and people were so horrified. They just were silent. They were like, they wanted to leave, which I was like, great, but it was not good. Then I pulled it back a little bit. I took some of the gore out, and people were like, yeah, cheering. So that one turned out great. I'm particularly proud of that one.
There are any differences when you direct the rest of the cast and the killer, the person who's going to play the killer?
God, I love your questions. These are so good.
Thank you.
Tô me sentindo adorável.
The cast cannot know they're in a horror movie. The characters. So I don't want anyone to behave like they're in a horror film.
Yeah.
I want them to all act real. They talk over each other. They don't listen to each other. They say stupid shit. The way they talk has to feel like real, the way real teenagers or people would talk in that situation, even if it's a crazy situation. When you're directing the killer, I didn't want anyone to guess who the killer is.
Oh, they didn't know.
Well, the kids knew, but I don't want the audience to guess.
Yeah.
So when you have a killer in a mask, I had different people play the killer for different scenes. So, because you could sometimes tell someone's body language, so they had to be about the right height. You couldn't have like, you know, a giant 200 kilogram person, you know. So it had to be real enough that when you reveal the killer, okay, yeah, that looks like who was killing. And then I sort of had a language of the way the killer looked and moved and walked and turning their head like that, doing like that. And that's like when you have the mask on, you kind of become the killer.
So now I would like to play a little game. I'm gonna tell you a few of Brazilians' horror stories.
Okay.
And maybe you can comment on how would you make a movie about them?
Okay.
The first one, it's a legend. I think in English maybe we can say the bathroom blonde. It's loira do banheiro. And it's a legend of a girl. It's a lot like Bloody Mary.
Okay.
It's a girl that you can summon inside a bathroom. You do a little ritual there, and then a blonde girl appears, and she has some cotton inside her nostrils. You know, she might kill you. That's the legend. And when we were kids, everybody did this ritual to try to summon this girl.
What happens when you summon her?
She is supposed to kill you.
I would make it about a lonely guy who summons the bathroom blonde, thinking that he can, you know, he understands her. And he wants to summon her to kill all of the people that are torturing him or the bullies in school. So he would summon her thinking that he can control it. And of course, it just becomes worse. And ultimately, she switches places with him. And he's stuck in the mirror forever. And she's freed, and she tricked him, and now he's forever trapped in the mirror. He becomes the bathroom blonde.
Oh, this is so cool. We should make a movie about that.
I just might.
Next one, it's ET de Varginha. It's like a UFO, an alien that appeared in a city here in Brazil called Varginha. And 3 girls say they saw this creature, and nobody really knows what happened. It's a mystery. The military went there. Even NASA did some research in the place. So we don't know what happened. We don't know if it really happened. But in Varginha today, they even have a statue of this alien, this creature there.
Oh, I would definitely do it about someone who wants to go and research it and find it. And they drag some kid from film school or like, you know, make it like Blair Witch. They're gonna go, they're gonna investigate, they're gonna film, they interview the scientists. It's just very strange things.
Like a found footage movie.
Yeah, very strange things start happening. And then you realize that like one of the crew members is the alien.
Yeah, oh, cool.
And did the documentary to make sure that the story never got out.
Okay, so last one then. The legend says if a woman has any love relations or sexual relations with a priest, she becomes this horse with no head, but with fire coming out of its neck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called mula sem cabeça, like a headless horse with fire coming out. She stays like that for a few hours or days each week.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a tourist goes to visit a town somewhere in Brazil, like an American, and there's this beautiful girl there, and they don't understand why the townspeople are afraid of her or no one will date her. She's like very, very nice, very sweet, very pretty. And he kind of falls in love with her and she won't tell him the secret until people are trying to kill her. And then, you know, she of course has to turn into the horse. And the question is, he finds out, does he accept it or not?
Yeah.
Or is there a way to break the curse? Or does he have to sacrifice himself? Or does he ultimately kill her to free her of the curse?
Yeah.
Or kill the priest? There's got to be some way to break the curse.
Yeah, I think there is, but I don't know how.
With the fire.
I think the legend says a way you can break the curse, but
I would end it that there's certain the curse is broken and he's going to marry her and take her home to America. Yeah. And on the airplane it happens. So the end of it is just like the people in the plane freaking out that there's this headless horse on fire. And the last thing is the plane just goes, just crashes and explodes.